Well, I think we can go ahead and get started. I think, like I said, it looks like I'm missing about 5 or so, but um, welcome everyone to our first seminar of 2022. We hope the new year is off to a good start for all of you, all things considered. We're pleased to have with us today Paul Donovan from Nature, and he's going to share some information about Nature Masterclasses and all of this subscription provides to our students. So this is something that we already have in place. It's available to all of you. So hopefully at the end of today's seminar, you all have a better idea of what all is available in terms of writing support and so forth. So Paul, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Amy. I'm going to guess the time zone. It's Central, so good afternoon, everybody. So it's evening here in London and it's cold. I imagine it looks, well, I'm looking at the picture behind Amy, that looks very autumnal. So I'm slightly jealous if that's a real-time picture. Thank you very much for the time today. What I wanted to do, and I've got my colleague Anya here with me as well, we just wanted to present or give you a better understanding about what is available with the Nature Masterclasses platform that, as Amy said, you've all got access to. Really what we're trying to do during this session is just create a level of awareness, not only for this product, but also how to use it and what benefits you will be able to receive from it, plus information in regards to individual courses that would be available to you, plus courses that will be available to you through the length of this subscription. So here is a very broad agenda. My favorite section is going to be the Q&A part, because it means that I don't have to do all the talking, and I hope that it means that there are some pertinent points that you're going to bring forward to me that I will be able to answer for you. So let's start at the beginning. Nature Masterclasses is essentially a service that is provided to organisations that we started in 2011. These were normally bespoke research sessions where established nature editors would present on topics that institutions would be interested in, whether that was specific to a discipline or whether that was some general topics in regards to writing and publishing or grant proposals. And it was felt that were we allowing the full potential of the expertise that we had to be reached. So in 2015, we launched it as an online platform, and that was primarily using the scientific writing and publishing course that we have, which is the cornerstone of this particular offering. And what we've done since then is just build upon those courses that are available. And what we're trying to do is get the farthest reach of the experience of our nature editors, the farthest reach of the particular understanding that they have and their ability to be able to articulate these ideas and training mechanisms to you. So what we have here is a very, very brief overview of what Nature Masterclasses Online is, or I'm going to call it NMO in the future because it's quite easy. What we provide to you is 8 available courses, 9 if we include the free course on scientific writing and publishing. But it is a training program that is at your control. Essentially, instead of sitting in front of a classroom for the start of the day and then moving through for the to continue to completion, we know that virtual learning gives you the control to be able to do exercises whenever you want, whether that's in between research that you're doing, whether that's at home, whether that potentially traveling to whatever destination that you want to achieve. We've made this bite-sized and consumable, and we would make it as interactive and provide videos and knowledge really from these nature editors and from other expertise within the research base. But the idea of this dip in and dip out model means that you have that control. But I shall go through things in a little bit more detail. So here is the breakdown of the courses, including the 4 courses that we're going to be launching in 2022. So as I said, we've got starting with scientific writing and publishing. It's the cornerstone. But what we've looked at it is really in relation to that research journey. So where you start from your question all the way through to publication. But then we've also got elements that we would be talking about in regards to furthering your career, which is, you know, essentially whether it's the networking or finding a job. These look at core elements of the research process and just applies that knowledge within these courses, which is then made available to you. So as you can see, there are 9 courses that are currently available, including the free one on focus peer review, with 4 planned for this year and another 4 planned for 2023. And the idea is that this will be a continually growing platform of information and courses, with the plan for 4 courses to be published every single year. What the key selling point or the key benefit of working with this particular platform is going to be the quality of the people that are actually involved, whether they're nature editors or whether they are people that work in the research community that want to be associated with nature. What we have is a wealth of experience and a wealth of knowledge, and what we want to do with NMO is just allow that to be presented to the widest possible reach to give you the best chance in regards to your roles as researchers, or your role within the scientific environment. So there may be editors that you encounter during the course that you may be familiar with, that you experience, or there could be people that actually from a discipline point of view that you want to seek out. But the quality of the editors, the quality of the presenters are the ones that are also contributing to the materials, and it is through their experience that you're going to get that, the best opportunity to understand how to approach each individual topic. Said a couple of times, scientific writing and publishing, or SWP, is the cornerstone, and it's also the longest. So it's 11 hours worth of learning, but we've broken it down into parts, into courses, we've broken it down into modules, and then obviously underneath modules there are lessons. So you can see here what's demonstrated are the 3 course parts that we actually have, and underneath that you've got the modules as well, so either writing, submitting, or publishing a review paper. But within that, as already said, you would have lessons, interactive activities that are going to take place, whether it's videos in regards to understanding, or whether it's just going to be flat learning in regards to scripts that are going to be applied to you. The idea is that within these 11 hours, it's in with your control. I think a key point is that if you're at the start of your course, you could do the course very linear, in a very linear fashion, or if there is something that you wanted to do to, let's say for example, you wanted to understand what measuring impact might mean from a nature editor's point of view, you can go to that particular part of the course. You control where you start, where you finish. Whether you wanted to repeat an exercise as well, it doesn't mean that once you've gone through that cycle, it is locked. It just gives you that freedom to repeat, or to start your journey at a later point from where the course starts. Then we've got collaboration. Again, 8 hours of learning broken down into individual modules and individual lessons. I'm going to roll through these because you can get the idea, and the idea is that what I want from you at the end of this exercise will be, once I've explained how you get on, how you register, for you to be able to find this information out for yourself. But we will, pass this presentation on and distribute it later. Managing research data, again, 4 or 5 hours worth of learning, and 15 minutes on average for each particular lesson. Again, narrative tools for researchers. New courses that we launched at late 2020, 2021, should I say? God, the years are going by. But we wanted to go through a little bit more details because there are some specific that we think are going to have a real benefit. So the topics that we've put forward at the end of last year were grant writing, networking, advancing your scientific presentations, and planning and preparing in the world of data analysis. You can see there how a lot of how it's been identified how crucial these skills are once we've done some market research and once we've spoken to the research base that we've got access to, and how 30% or 27 or 21 are satisfied with the training that's currently available out there. So what we also would be doing in the background as we prepare courses, we want to make them as effective as possible. So we do an extensive amount of research to ensure that what we're preparing will have value, will have benefit, is up to date as well. So these are some of the statistics that have been brought forward based upon the research that we've done for these topics. Again, I can go through these quite quickly, but what we have with persuasive grant writing, things in relation to how to plan, how to articulate, and how to apply those core learnings into that particular grant that you're looking to go through. And what we have there again is the module titles, what do you do before you start, how do you target your audience, and how do you create a compelling narrative. So interesting panel on this one. Our main contributor is Peter, who's in charge of scientific editing for Nature Research. And what he does all day would be reviewing scientific papers that have been submitted and look at it in regards to, is a compelling story. He's not testing the science, and to a certain extent, he's not testing the language. He's structuring that grant or structuring that paper to ensure that it is the best that it can actually be. But then we've also got, outside contribution, whether it's, people from the Iowa State or from Drexel. What we look to achieve is a wide range of contributors to each individual course. So for networking, we've got the 4 topics of getting ready. Welcome to the course. That's an interesting one. Approaching content with peers, and nurturing and harness. So the idea with all of these is that there is an established pattern that you're looking towards to give you the base of understanding, and then to be able to present to present those results. Again, what we've got here is our significant contributor is Ben, who's the chief editor of Nature Medicine, and David Payne, who's in charge of careers and supplements, because his role is just in regards to that Nature Jobs, where it is all about how do organizations or institutions articulate the roles that they've actually got. What is the best forum for actually doing that? Okay, we've got some video interviewees as well. Sorry, that was a difficult word for me to say there. Video interviewees as well. Scientific presentations, again, developing that content is incredibly important, and preparing and navigating your talk, probably something that I could have benefited on before doing this today. But how do we articulate in the best way that message? How do you ensure it's stimulating? What length should it actually be? How engaging should the content be, or should the content essentially be a presentation in regards to key points where the presenter then creates more of a narrative through the conversation that he imparts. And we've got a big figure here. We've got Magdalena, who is our editor-in-chief. So who better to be able to talk about how to present scientific narratives, somebody whose role it is our ambassador in regards to ensuring that us as an organization are at the forefront of of research publishing. So a great person to have in regards to this particular course. And last but not least, planning and preparing from a data analysis perspective. And what we have here is a couple of Nature editors, from Nature Climate and from Nature Medicine. So we are always looking to ensure that it isn't just a contributor from the nature perspective. We need to have outside resource to be able to look at things and to provide a balanced view. So getting started, I jumped ahead there. You have a very simple way to gain access to the course. All you have to do is to register while you're contained within your IP address. So while you have to be contained within your network for your institution. Now that doesn't have to mean that you have to be on site. That means that you could just be at home and you would VPN into your network to be able to gain access to materials that would only be available there. Once you have access, or once you register while you're in that IP address, you don't need to register again. It doesn't the authentication only needs to take place once. So for example, if you were on site and registered and then you decided to go on holiday and for some reason wanted to access the course while you're on holiday, you don't need to be contained within that network to be able to gain access. You only need to be able to do that once, and that is when you authenticate your account within the system. So IUP or IP access, it's a very simple approach. You are authenticated automatically. So what you just need to do, as you say, is you just need to register and log in for the first time where you're connected to your institution's internet or within those registered IP ranges. We've been provided those IP ranges, so we know what is authorized and what is not authorized. So whether you're on site or at home, as long as you're connected within that IP range, you should be able to gain access. Very simple. You would just register by going to the Masterclasses homepage, and as you can see there, you've got a very simple select register. We would then ask you to fill in your email address and create a password and accept the terms and conditions and press register. Then what will happen is that you will have a mail sent to you, which we then need to authenticate, which will be available for that link will be available for 30 days. If you don't receive that, you can either contact the customer services team or just check your junk or spam folder, and then essentially once you've authenticated that, you have access to the course, and you will receive, once you go back onto the site, you'll be able to see that the registration has been successful because you have that green tick. So the only thing which isn't a blocker, but the only thing that you need to be aware of is that once you connect, you would have to re-authenticate once every 6 months. So using my example of you registered while you were on site and you've decided to move away and you've got no connection to the internal infrastructure or the internal IP address range, you would need to authenticate or get back on within that range after the first 6 months. So you're authenticated once every 6 months, and you're authenticated by being within the IP address range of the institution. If you've got any questions about that, I can go through that a little bit later. Okay. So once you're onboarded, you can access the course in 2 particular ways, whether that's just directly from the home page, or you can just choose the list of courses that are available, as demonstrated here. But what we would ask you to do, and I think this is important for your institution to get the full benefit of the understanding of who's using the course, is that there is a simple, once you've registered, there is a simple profile that we would ask you to complete. That will allow the institution to understand where that learning is coming from. It will always be anonymous if we provide that data, but we will be able to see either your discipline or your job title. So it just allows the organization to be able to see where people are working within what particular areas, and if more support is needed to be provided, then we will be able to identify who is working within the courses. But we think it's an important step, and we would encourage you to do that. And again, once you've logged in, you don't need to register again. You would just go back to the home page and just type log in. You've got some information just in regards to your account settings, and you can edit your personal data if circumstances change, and you'll be able to view your dashboard, which I'll go through in a little bit more detail later. So using the course, I've probably said this a number of times, but really You can go via each of the individual course pages, or you can go via the choices. But what the beauty of this particular approach is the non-linear, how it can be non-linear. You can see how you're working, but you don't need to start in this particular course. You don't need to start with managing data and go all the way through to module summary. If you wanted to start the importance of sharing data, you can. It is about the fact is that it is accessible at any point, it is repeatable at any point, and it isn't a case that that learning that I described in some of those courses, you know, from 11 hours, you know, or from 6 hours to 11 hours, you would need to take in one session. It is the idea that you have that control, you have that power, and essentially it's consumable chunks that are available for you. What we also have, for people that want a little bit more detail, we can have you can have subtitles that are available on the videos, or you can have a transcript as well if you just want to be able to view it as a separate transcript. As we said, logical progression from the start, or using the modules where you want to be. It's the idea is that it not only is it in your control, but it is also about the fact is that you may want to work, you may want to learn, you know, I was sort of talking about Magdalena. I would want to be interested in how Magdalena is doing, you know, presentation. So I might want to hone in on the areas that she's talking through. So for me, this is the beauty of the actual system. It is the non-linear, consumable, in your full control. But we still want to understand how far you're progressing. You probably want to understand how far you are. So on your dashboard, you can see which each course has got available, where you are within each particular course. And obviously, as new courses are provided, that will be applied in there, how far you've progressed in each individual course. And that's also available on each course page as well as that home dashboard that we actually have. Just another example of the dashboards that we've got. What we have is also certificates that are available once you complete modules or courses. This is essentially what will happen once you get to the completion. You would then have access to be able to draw down upon a PDF of this particular course completion certificate. This is just for you to, you know, to have the satisfaction of actually course completion. I don't know whether your organization is going to use this for course credits. You know, that's something that the learning team will actually be able to prescribe. Some organizations do that are part of their learning function. You know, the successful completion of a course and the, you know, the availability of that certificate will apply learning credits to them, but I'm unsure in regards to what you're doing here. But even if it isn't from a credit perspective, the idea of actually having this available from a completion point of view will just give you a sense of gratification and of accomplishment, we hope. What we've also got is some additional features, some very simple things, which is you know, some user tips in our blog section. You know, how I've prescribed how we use the course is my view, you know, and what we think from a business perspective. But within the blog, there's also individual topics and tips that will be provided for those courses that we have each individual course that we actually have. And then we've also got some bios of the experts that we've applied. You know, I've spoken about them, but you might want to understand their experience and their expertise a little bit more, you know, before you trust what they're presenting. You will always have access to the Focus on Peer Review course. It's something that we offer, you know, the whole research community, purely just because peer review is incredibly important. We have, you know, we contribute to Peer Review Week, but we want to ensure that you have access to that all the time. So it is something that is free for use, even beyond the institutional license that they may have with us. Just to give you, again, a little bit more of an understanding, you're going to get 3 or 4 hours of learning in relation to that. And it just gives you the breakdown of how we structure that peer review process. Then we've got our frequently asked questions. that can help from troubleshooting perspective, but it also contains our customer services contact details. So if there are issues that you're experiencing, maybe some of the things that I described from a point of view of access, they will be able to resolve. They are the access experts. They will be able to understand and articulate what those problems actually are and escalate for you if necessary. But if you do have problems, then please contact that customer services team. We're a global organisation, so there is 24-hour coverage in regards to that. So don't be concerned that you need to only speak to them during, I was going to say office hours, but during the normal working day. Now, I've spoken for 28 minutes. My voice is just croaked there. So this, for me, is the part I enjoy the most. I would ask if there is anything that I've rushed through, that my accent might have put you off. Just ask some questions, and I hopefully will be able to articulate the answers that you need in more detail. So I'm open to questions. We've got the session for the next half an hour, so please let me know if there's anything you want to talk through.
Hi, Paul. This is Joy. I'm the director of the library, and between the Graduate College and the library, we make access possible for Nature Masterclasses. And I just put a couple of items in the chat that I want to bring to the attention of the students in case they have access issues.
I'm going to stop the screen because I can't see the chat in the screen. Hold on. Here we go. Right, I've got it now. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So, right. Yeah, essentially, yeah, if you've got difficulties, then, yeah, you can either ask your librarian, or if you're off campus, then you will be able to use the customer services team. They've got access to the information that you want. And again, that's a good suggestion about bookmarking. We all do it. We all forget what we have, but I would have Nature Masterclasses as that homepage is one of your favorites, so you always need to go, and once you log back in, then you will be able to continue with the course at the last position that you finished at, or repeat an exercise.
Yeah, and we don't mind people contacting Nature Masterclasses, but we really would prefer that you contact the library first, so that we have an awareness of the types of issues, and if there are multiple issues or multiple individuals having the same issues. I know we've had some lately, and some of that has to do with the IPs. And so, again, if you would contact the library first, and because we do collect the information about different issues that we're having, and we can look at it as a larger group, and then contact customer service.
No problem from my end. So
we'll eventually get in touch with you anyway, Paul.
Yeah, makes it a lot easier. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you want to field all the calls, that's great, Joy. Thank you very much.
Certainly.
So Joy has given us some useful information, but is there anything that you need from myself or Anya in regards to either course content, accessing, tips and guides? Please don't be afraid. Please don't let me my South London accent intimidate you. Oh, sorry, I can see. Oh, right, sorry, they're appearing in the chat. Sorry, I was hoping to hear from somebody. Right, okay. So from Richard, since the video is being recorded, all right, I think that's probably something. Is this available for students or fellows who are unable to attend so they can access? I think from our perspective, yeah, we will be, we'll send Joy and everybody all of the materials. I think I would ask Joy to answer how that's going to be distributed to everybody.
We will post that on our grad college webpage. So it'll be under current students, and we have a career and professional development link, and then we have a running track list of all of these seminar presentations and related materials. So we're happy to put it there.
I think sorry, I'm very slow on this chat thing. I've got Amy. So Amy's even responded to that. Yeah.
Can I answer the registered IP ranges? It's
please, because I can't remember them off the top of my head. But
right.
Please go ahead.
And I'm not going to give you the IP ranges because they change, and they're changing consistently right now. But it's OUHSC. So it's the OUHSC IP ranges. Were you looking for a specific institution or an affiliate? And the IPs are restricted because this is a resource that we pay for. And so those individuals who are part of the institution that's paying for the resource are the individuals that have access.
Okay. I don't think there's any. Oh, right. It doesn't give you that. It doesn't show you a new one. You just have to continue to keep scrolling down. Oh, what? I think that's not something that I like. I like to know if there's a new question in there. Oh, that's bad, Zoom.
Yeah, usually you get a little message that says additional messages.
Oh,
it's not happening here.
No, I'm in the web version, not in the app version, should I say. One thing that I should have reiterated, this is available now. And what I would suggest that everybody does, even if they use this remaining portion of the session to do that, would be to register if you haven't done so already. I think the best way for you to understand what is available isn't for me to wax lyrical about it. It will be for you to experience those, whatever lesson or activity that you want to start. And I think that will be the proof that you may be able to understand that it is all about control, and it is all about accessibility and consumability. So yeah, if you haven't done so already, I would ask you to register and just use this opportunity, after this session to take a course, to dip your toe in the water, let's say. Okay, we have a couple. While accept all cookies.
Yes, that's been an off and on issue, and so Young, that's good to know that it is happening with you. My question for you is, are you able to actually get to content, or when you get that accept all cookies, are you not able to progress forward? Okay, thank you. So this is a good example for, if you would please report that. I have that now, but if you would please report that to the Ask a Librarian. And that helps us determine if that's perhaps an isolated issue, or if we have several people that are seeing it, if it's a more widespread issue and much more of a system issue versus a user issue. So thank you for conveying that.
I think I've got one for me, which isn't about IPs and and access. So is it necessary to complete all the courses in a module for certificate? Oh, sorry, hold on. My Alexa's starting up. How useful is Alexa when I don't even say the word Alexa? I've just said it again, sorry. The answer, Jacob, Lynn, is you need to complete all of the modules all of the lessons within a module to receive a certificate for courses that are multi-module. So if we go back to the start, in SWP, there were 3 modules and a number of lessons underneath that. You would need to finish all of the lessons to complete the module. And once you complete the module, you would receive a certificate for that module. But then some of the smaller courses, you would need to complete the course to be able to receive a certificate. So the bigger the course, and if it's broken down into modules, it's a certificate per module. If it's a smaller course, it's a course completion. Okay, I'm glad I can answer that for anybody else. Okay. I always think if there aren't questions, have I done a good enough job? Have I not engaged with everybody? I hope it's the latter, or everybody's completely satisfied with how it's been presented.
I think that's the case, Paul.
I hope, well, that's what I'm saying to myself, definitely. You know, before I go into the weekend, I need to go into the best frame of mind.
Absolutely.
So from our perspective, as I said, this is an ever developing proposition, with the fact is that there is not only commitment made by your organisation. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now I'm being British and embarrassed by the praise. Thank you very much. Not only is there a commitment from you as a business, or sorry, as an organisation, to be able to commit to this, our commitment to you is the development of the courses, the development of the proposition. So, you know, I've described that there will be four additional courses. There are going to be one per quarter that are going to be available to you. And if the organisation to choose to continue to us, because we are in a contractual arrangement, then those courses will be would continue to increase, as well as us looking at the existing courses to ensure that they are relevant, they're fit for purpose. So there's always going to be that continual development that takes place, because we appreciate the fact is that we need to ensure that not only are we continue to create engaging and new content, we need to ensure the existing content is is fit for today's purpose, let's say.
Well, thank you, Paul. This is something that's definitely a great resource, and unfortunately, I just don't think a lot of students have known about it until now. So we're definitely going to work on our end to promote this. We're grateful for your time today and providing this overview, and also we'll make the slides available if you're willing to share those. We'll post them on our website.
Not a problem at all. And you will share those to you on Monday once we're back into the office. But yeah, perfect. It was great. It was a great opportunity to speak to you, and I was going to implore you there. I would really, I'd really suggest that you log in, you register, and you can see the quality of what is available. You know, it is something that has been evaluated by your institution. Budget has been set aside for this, and the reason why is because they are attuned with Nature as a brand and the quality of what's been produced, and we need to expand that to the reach of all of you. So please take advantage of the investment that's been made into this particular product.
Definitely. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, please join me in thanking Paul for his time today, joining us from all the way from London. But again, just really, I do appreciate this, because this is something that's definitely been underutilized, but is just such a tremendous resource. So grateful to have had your time and showing the students what all is available.
No problem. I wish you all a wonderful weekend. So have some great time, or just register and do a couple of lessons.
Perfect.
What's better? You could do that with the 18 minutes that I've given you back. So there you go. Thanks very much, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Paul. Thank you, everyone.
Speak to you all soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.